Hello, and welcome to The Heart Of. Jake Blount is a musician who specializes in black folk music. His genre has officially been described as Afro-futurist folklore, something that breaks down boundaries between the many genres as folk, electric, hip-hop, blues, rock. His recent album, The New Faith, is both a concept album, a folk album, a hip-hop spiritual, a blues album, taking melodies from many black artists from America and to as far as Jamaica, reworking them to present them to a new audience. Born in D.C., he began to learn guitar at the age of 12. Then after meeting musicians Megan Jean and the KFB, he dove into acoustic. Then in 2013, enrolling in Hamilton College, where he focused on African-American folk music. And then after taking banjo lessons with some of the professors, dove into old-timey music. His need to look into the past at the many black artists that came before him to find his future is inspiring. To find a future for one's own cultural legacy and the new faith. To quote Marcus Dowling, a reporter from the Tennessee, the new faith deepens the soul of black folk, offering a dystopian salvation, finds Blount expanding the depth and scope of Afrofuturism in the modern era. And to quote the song The Downward Road from the album The New Faith, whole family poor, he was taught not to run from it when you come from it, and the king is never alone, a feeling Silas thought he would never know. The king mean, he said homegrown, this upbringing showed him that's all nothing he don't own. Sorry for goofing it a little bit. To discover one's own cultural legacy, to bring it forward as the new faith is incredibly inspirational. To comment on a genre other black artists don't get enough credit for in the eyes of mainstream audiences. There's also something just as important to me. This opens the door for other artists to continue to dig and find their own cultural legacy, to take that into the future and proudly say, this is who we are. Artists like Jake are so important. Okay. Scripted section done. Now to go in how I feel. I think I heard The New Faith in 2022, and like I said earlier, both concept album, it was many things, and commented on many things, from this concept of this future where the planet is dying and this people have to find a new home, to potentially what the slave experience was going to the New World, from their cultural home in Africa to the slave plantations. I think being able to find one's own cultural legacy is important, especially when it's so easy to not know it. I think things like Google or the internet could be great when you can just search, but it almost becomes aimless searching. It's like trying to hit a target in the dark. You don't know exactly what you're trying to hit. So to have an artist that is as educated as Jake make this music and truly understands it, not because, that's just what he studied, but it's a part of him, it becomes easier to point and go, oh yes, this, and then it provides you a roadmap to go backwards and to find it. So, for example, there are many songs on the album, forgive me, I don't know it off the top of my head, where he points to other black artists. So, melodies from slaves in Jamaica, melodies from the New World, melodies from plantations, he was able to take and reincorporate and make a whole new song, melody. And again, it's inspirational. Now, for myself, it's hard because I grew up in this way where I spoke a certain way. I didn't really know Arabic. I am an Arab American. And being told, well, you like this, you sound like this, are you really Arab? Are you really in cultural roots? And to see, all these things about Arabs on the news, you become, it almost creates a weird insulation of like, oh, but I'm different. I'm here. They're there. And it becomes this overwhelming feeling. Now, when you look at something like the New Faith and Jake being able to do it all, really be in touch with these roots and then be the person he is, you don't have to sacrifice anything. And I think for the longest time, I thought you did. And it becomes inspiring to like, maybe it's time for me to look through these cultural roots and cultural legacy to bring forth in a new way, just like Jake Blount did with all of his albums. The New Faith, Spider Tales, Reparations, I think are all extremely inspirational because he takes the old and presents them, like I said earlier, to an audience, and he gets to give credit to these black folk artists that don't get enough credit. Now, when I say don't get enough credit, I'm sure in circles of academia, they get plenty of credit. But in terms of a mainstream audience eyes, do they? Are they known? And I think the more you're able to shift what maybe a handful of academics know to what a mainstream population knows, I think is incredibly moving. And almost, it inspires for me to find my own cultural legacy, to dig deep and bring forth. So not only for people to know, but for me to know, So I think all of his album, the New Faith especially, is an incredible piece of work. I highly recommend it. But yeah, I think cultural legacy is extremely important. And Jake does an incredible job not only of bringing his past, his cultural past to life, but also carving out a way for its future. This has been The Heart of, episode 23. I hope you have a wonderful day. Thank you.